Hello, I'm Kate A. Hardy and welcome to Tales from the Vestry. Yesterday I was reading part one of the Panto Horse End, and today I will read the second. And we're at the part where Marion has arrived in Pendingville, and she's just after an accident on Earth, and she's just filling out a required form, which I'll read that bit again. Okay, here we go. Welcome. Please read the following to ensure your passage into heaven will be as trouble-free as possible. Fill in all blank spaces, sign and date. You will be assigned a guidance officer during your initial briefing. Why am I not actually in heaven? Asked the doctor as she allowed the surreal words to embed themselves in her mind, pushing out the hospital idea. You have certain issues that need to be addressed, said the doctor as she stood up and crossed the room. Reaching up, she grasped a toggle and pulled. A rolled-up chart rattled into place. Right, she continued, tapping the poster with a biro. Here is earthly life. She traced the pen up to the top. Heaven. And down here, hell. The pen moved opposite earthly life. And here, purgatory. Or Pendingville, as we renamed it. The boss thought it needed to be a little less gothic. How long will I have to be here? Asked Marion, wincing as her back started to complain at the unusual angle. After my brief look at your details, I should say about 6 earthly months. Marion's hazy mind cleared. 6 months? But what about doing the house up? The kitchen's about to be refurbished. Dr. Goodley put up a hand. Mrs. Smith, you are at stage 1, acceptance of the fact that you are in fact dead. Your kitchen is no longer of any importance. She looked at her watch again. Please fill in the form and don't forget to take it to your briefing. Who will be my guidance officer? Asked Marion, feeling fear and hysteria mounting. Dr. Greatrix, now, can I invite you to have lunch or coffee at the canteen, and he will see you in room 42 in an hour. But what about this wound? Temporary. It and you are in limbo startatis. As you work your way to the heavenly state, things will improve, or not, depending on your actions. The doctor walked over to the door, held it open, and, as if seeing off a guilty dog, gestured Marion into the corridor. She shuffled away. The brown-suited man had disappeared, the line of chairs now empty. As in a dream, the corridor yawned into the distance. Blue floor, orange chairs, brown doors every few yards, longer and further. Her feet ached and her head, everything in fact. The ping of a lift broke the echoing nothingness. Going up, anyone? Marion turned to see a white-robed elderly woman peering from the lift. Yes, wait! Marion hobbled over, slipped in and sat on a thoughtfully provided chair in the corner of the lift. Which floor, love? For the canteen? Right, 600, got ya. As she turned back to locate a brass button, Marion noticed the white plastic wings attached to her gown. Excuse me for asking, but why the wings? Supposed to get a bit of inspiration, love, you know. Repent, get on with it, and you can join the boss up there. So why are you still here? Can't seem to get the repenting stuff right. Mind, I'm quite happy in Pendingville, and Arnie, my husband, he had it coming. I just don't regret finishing him off, see? So if you murdered someone, why aren't you down there? The wrinkled face smiled. I was good, weren't I? Just that one mistake, and they know he was a bastard. Marion watched the illuminated numbers click past. The woman nudged her. Mugging, was it? No, a sword, actually. Oh, Middle Ages, eh? Your haircut don't look like it, though. As Marion searched for a reply, the lift shuddered and stopped. Here you are, love, said the angel, selecting an arrowed button. The doors slid back. Marion heaved herself to her feet and left the lift. Thanks. A bony hand waved as she looked back. You're welcome. Try the Good Shepherd's pie. Marion followed the tinkling sounds of china and cutlery until she came to double doors topped with a sign in rainbow lettering, Crossroads Cafe. A few people sat dotted around the room in various states of after death or life. A jockey bent over a bowl, his once shiny uniform spattered with mud, a deep-sea diver, oxygen tank still on his back, and a young woman whose punctured arms told of a trip too far. Picking up a tray, Marion glanced around the room. Like the office she had visited earlier, the decor was trapped in the 1970s. Turquoise geometric paper adorned the walls, teamed with formica tables and globular orange suspended lighting. A curranty-eyed woman was peering at her behind the barrage of food display cabinets. "What can I get you, dear?" "Oh, just a coffee, please." The woman shuffled about and produced a chunky white cup and saucer. "There you go, and have a slice of ascension cake. Someone moved up from Pendingville yesterday. Mavis baked a really super one, meringue clouds and everything." Placing the cup and plate on her tray, it occurred to Marion that she had no money. "Look, this is a bit embarrassing, but I don't seem to have my bag or purse." "No charge, dear," smiled the ex-dinner lady. "Good luck." Marion, feeling in need of information, walked towards a scruffy-haired man sitting by a window. "Hello, would you mind if I sat there?" He turned his gaze from the window and gestured to the opposite chair. "No, please, do you need some help? I'm Hamish, by the way." She rocked gingerly into the seat. "Marion, hi. Thanks, I'm fine. Well, I'm not, obviously." "It gets easier," he said kindly. "Can I assist with any questions, perhaps?" Marion broke off a piece of blue iced cake and thought for a moment. "Yeah, I do have one. How long might it be before I see the boss?" "Who have you got for guidance?" "Greatrix." "Oh, he's good. Probably not too long then." Glancing at his watch, Hamish started. "Oh, it's 1 o'clock and I've got a banishing regret class to attend to. Better go. By the way, what happened to you?" "A misplaced sword." Unusual clothing for a reenactment," he said, standing up. "Good luck." "Thanks, and you." Marion hauled herself up to look out of the window. Clouds swirled around the building, the lower floors rushing to a vanishing point, surrounded by deep blue something. Water? Space? Remembering her rendezvous, Marion finished the cake, limped from the canteen and made her way to room 42. At her knock, the door swung open. A portly man, in a long-collared paisley shirt and white trousers, beamed out at her. "You must be Marion. Come in, come in. My gosh, you're in a bad way." Marion smiled tightly as she fell to a chair. "Before you ask, it was a sword, but not from the Middle Ages or a battle reenactment." The man looked surprised. "I know, my dear. It's all in the notes. A theatre production of Richard III, was it not?" "Yes, but I wasn't supposed to be in it." Quite. Now, let's see how we can assist you." Marion peered at him through the stacks of paper on the desk as he searched for the right file. "It's a green one," she said. "Look, how long will I have to be in this position, and is there anything you can do about it?" "Ah, yes. Here we are." Dr. Greatrix snagged a pair of thin wire spectacles around his ears and opened the file. Then he looked up at her. "If you answer correctly, the results can be instantaneous." "And afterwards?" "You may be able to enter heaven or go back to earth, but not necessarily as yourself." "Not as myself?" "It's always a risk, and depends on how much work you have done to amend issues of your past." "You mean I could possibly arrive as a game show host or a sewer inspector?" His eyes sparked behind the lenses. "Possibly, or even a dung beetle, a herring or a goat." Marion tried to sit up abruptly. "An animal?" "Like I say, it's a risk." "What about heaven?" Suits some, very calm, lots of gentle reflection, tea and chat, that sort of thing. I think there could be improvements, however. The choice of music, for example. Continual panpipes can be a little irritating, but then everyone is so nice they don't like to complain. Sounds like hell. I mean, Dr. Greatorex smiled. I'd like to start with your childhood. Marion opened her eyes slowly and focused on a crack running across off-white paint. Oh, Tommy, she yawned. Thought you said they'd redone the bedroom ceiling. She put out a hand to shake the slumbering form next to her and found a wall. Abruptly awake now, she turned and was greeted by mustard yellow gloss paint. She threw off not her Jasper Conran duvet, but a flower-patterned sheet and a candlewick bedspread. She looked around the room. The single bed occupied half the space, otherwise empty apart from a small plywood wardrobe. 2 pieces of paper pinned to the wall next to a clock and a door marked bathroom. Things were creeping about in her mind. Memories of mustard yellow flowered cloth, not enough blankets, ice on the inside of windows. Mum, I'm cold. No, Mum, not any more. She turned her gaze to the window, white puffs of cloud against a clear blue sky, blurred in her tear-filled eyes. What had happened in that room with Dr. Greatorex? She must have talked about her mother, the death of her mother even. Sitting up, Marion realised she could sit up. Her back felt normal and she stood and wrinkled up the nylon nightdress to check the wound. Nothing. Only her skin, a little over brown from the 2 weeks in Sicily with Tommy. Dear Tommy. He was dear. She'd lost that truth somewhere over the years, just as she'd lost elasticity in her limbs and liberty in her mind. Had she become a bitch little by little? Or had there been a specific time? As Marion padded over to the sheets of paper, her bare feet noted the texture of the carpet. She glanced down and recognised the orange shag pile of her childhood room. If she were to open the wardrobe, would David Cassidy and Donny Osmond grin down from the back of the door? That's part 2, and I'll read part 3 later. Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a like. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.